Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win. Yes!
It was an excellent slate of 12 games Monday night. 80% of the league in action. 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3 in the Eastern and Western conferences. Chock full of other important interconference matchups as well. Intra-conference seeding battles. Every game mattering in the increasingly tight Western Conference race. And finally, the Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley, Miami Heat, Days of Our Lives saga has yet another chapter. Like any good telenovela, is there ever going to be an end? Plenty to catch you up on to tip off week number 15 in the NBA season, including potential history in the dunk contest. But before we do, if you like the show, please do like and subscribe. Share with a friend to stay in the know for this NBA season. Let's get it. Group chat, group chat, group chat, game of the night. My boy asked if I could do an Usher-themed group chat game of the night. There you go. Houston, Boston, 2 in the East against 2 in the West. Second meeting of the season, the first in Houston. It was a dud. This one, though, delivered. That's why it's the group chat game of the night. Former Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka back in Boston. It was a 1-point game, 5 minutes left after the Rockets went on a 13-0 run. Looked like Boston was going to run away with it. Game had 14 lead changes, 7 ties. Dillon Brooks had a made three with 99 seconds left that gave Houston a 108-106 lead. A massive night for Brooks. Jason Tatum responds with a layup to tie it up. Amen Thompson right back with a fadeaway at the buzzer. A career night for Thompson. More on him in a second. Rockets have a 2-point lead, 15.5 seconds left. Jaylen Brown draws a foul on Tari Eason, ties it at the line, making both. 11.8 Houston ball, chance to win. But they go quick on a defensive breakdown. The inbound to Alperen Şengün. He dunks the ball, just a second and a half go off the clock. 2-point lead, 112-110. 10.3 now left. Jason Tatum comes back, goes right at Thompson. Quick drive, lay-in, 112 all. 5.3 seconds on the clock. Rockets inbound the ball after a foul to give. Amen Thompson shoulders Jaylen Brown on the drive, nails the pull-up. Peyton Pritchard gets a heave, no-go. Rockets victorious. Thompson, career best, 33 points. 10 of them come in the fourth quarter, along with 10 rebounds. And he also was clamps on Jason Tatum, hounded him all night long. 36 for Dillon Brooks on 10 of 15 from 3. 10 of 15 from 3 for Dillon Brooks. It was incensing the Celtics broadcast crew that he kept making threes. Not a big three-point shooter, but a huge W for the Houston Rockets that continue to show this league and this show and you guys that they are indeed for real. All the drama around Jimmy Butler earlier today. More on that in injuries and news. But just the second double overtime game that we have seen amongst all halfway through this NBA season, over halfway through now. And that was in the state of Florida, the Magic against the Heat. The Magic led by 14 in the fourth, but the Heat go on a 17-5 run. They have done this repeatedly over the season. Late runs usually spurned by Tyler Hero and his hot shooting. Neither team could take the victory with multiple chances in regulation and in overtime, but in the second extra period, it was a Hero 3 that gave Miami a 4-point lead. Paolo Banchero turned it over. Bam Adebayo hits a jumper. 6-point lead is all that was needed to close out the game. 125-119. The Heat expunged some of that Jimmy Butler-induced stress, also from the front office. They are culpable as well. More on all of that later. 38-12 from Hero, 26 from Adebayo. The teams are locked in that 6 through 9 battle. Miami, with its victory, moves up to 6th in the East. Inter-conference matchups, the theme of tonight, at least on the top end. Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, 3 seed in the West against the 3 seed in the East. The Knicks absolutely demolish the Grizzlies. They win by 37, a game-high 28 from Mikal Bridges, 24 points, 11 rebounds from Karl Anthony Towns, 20 from Jalen Brunson. Remember the Knicks, 2 all-star starters, Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, New York voters, does that matter much? Knicks just a game now, though, behind the Celtics for second place in the East. Could the Knicks catch them? We'll see. Next up for the Knicks, they host the Nuggets on Wednesday. Stay in the Big Apple, go across the Brooklyn Bridge. Sacramento Kings in town to take on the Nets. 7 ties, 8 lead changes. It was a 30-18 fourth quarter for the Kings. That was the difference in securing a 110-96 victory, a game-high 30 points from De'Aaron Fox. How about this line from DeMonis? Should be an all-star reserve, would be a travesty in a sporting sense if he is not. Sabonis, 21 points, 22 rebounds, 10 assists. The Kings, 24-22, locked in a standings battle with the Dallas Mavericks. They were looking for their 25th win of the season, and they got it. They were playing the Wizards. 130-108, 6 players in double figures for the Mavs. Klay Thompson had 23. The Mavs now 25-22, but just 4 games in the loss column out of 4th place in the West. That's always the place to look. It's losses, not just wins, to look at the standings race. So you look at a Dallas Mavericks team that, as I look, currently in 9th place at 25-22. Denver is 28-18, currently in 4th. There's some work that can be done there to elevate yourself if you go on a little win streak. Speaking of streaks, the Wizards, yikes. Woof, Buzz. They have many games in the loss column as their losing streak is now 14 in a row. They had a 15er earlier this season. They snapped it when they beat the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets were in Chicago to take on the Bulls with a statue of Michael Jordan out front that has his Jordan 9s banned by Jordan Brand. Check it out on Instagram. Terrible marketing. The Nuggets score 84 points in the paint. They have 30 fast break points and 22 points off of turnovers. Nikola Jokic on Serbian night, big Serbian population in Chicago. They do it every year that the Nuggets are in town. He had 33 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists on 14 of 21 shooting. Nuggets get an easy win, right? No, they do not. The Bulls, a poor man's version of the Boston Celtics, because they're going to shoot the 3, they're going to shoot the 3, and they're going to keep shooting the 3. They attempt 53 of their 98 shots from 3, and they make 24 of them, a plus 18 made 3-point advantage over the Nuggets. That is a 54-point difference. That is the reason why they won the game, 129-121. A bad loss in the West race for the Denver Nuggets. They stay 4th, but now just a game ahead of the Lakers. We stay in the Midwest. We go from cold to colder. Still befuddles me that the Minnesota Timberwolves are in the Northwest Division. They were hosting the Atlanta Hawks. The Wolves giving chase to that 2 through 6 seeded pack of teams. The Wolves have been lingering around 500. Well, they won their 3rd in a row, whistle to whistle, 100-92 against Atlanta. 23 from Anthony Edwards, 20 from Julius Randle. They are now the Minnesota Timberwolves. 4 games, double checking. Yes, 25-21 above 500. Most intriguing part of this game was the horn, the buzzer, sounding at the end of the first quarter, fell from the Jumbotron. I don't know if it was frozen up there, but fell to the floor, nearly hit Rudy Gobert, but thankfully missed everyone. New Orleans Pelicans, Toronto Raptors. The Raptors and the Pelicans duking it out cross conference for who's going to have more lottery balls. Well, the Raptors held a 16-point lead at half, but they squandered it with a 35-18 Pelicans third quarter. Wild lead swing alert. Toronto, though, would take the lead back and see it across the finish line. 113-104. Zion Williamson, he did play in this one. Any guesses as to how many games Zion has played on the season? Just 12. He had 31-7-2, not good enough to overcome Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl, who led the charge for the Raptors, 21 points apiece. Let's talk seeding battles. Detroit in this one, as they were on the road against Cleveland, really trying to push themselves into playoff position. It's Cleveland that is trying to keep pace with the Thunder for the best record in the league. The Cavs trying to get off their season worst 3-game slide. The game was tied twice, but Cleveland led this one after that end to end. Darius Garland, 22, 21 from Donovan Mitchell. Do they both get all-star nods? We'll see. Hold Detroit to 38% shooting, 27% from three. The Cavaliers are now 37-9. They are a half game behind Oklahoma City for the overall best record in the league. Final game of the night to close out time-wise. We still have two more to cover after. The Clippers against the Suns. Suns control it for the majority. A 1-point lead, though. It had dwindled. 40.4 seconds left. Phoenix makes their free throws down the stretch. It's 111-109 in their favor. Game high 26 from Devin Booker, 24 from Kevin Durant. Step overs. These were games that were not competitive at all. The Lakers in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. They built a 23-point lead, did the Lakers in the first quarter. They had 13 consecutive made buckets, a 31-9 run. Anthony Davis, his first quarter, 21 points and 11 rebounds. Couldn't take the rest of the night off, though, as the Hornets would chip away. They got it to one possession multiple times, but the Lakers closed it out. Davis finished with 42 points, 23 rebounds, 22, 7, and 8 from LeBron James. The Lakers victorious 118-107. They are now 25-18, 3 consecutive wins. There was an injury in this one, yet another for the Hornets. LaMelo, he sprained his left ankle, did not return. Final game of the night, Milwaukee, Utah. Outside of the opening buckets, the Bucks led the entirety. They win 125-110, 35-18-7 from Giannis, in spite of 3 of 10 free throw shooting, 35 from Damian Lillard, and 22 from Chris Middleton. Heavy Pour, leading scorer of the night, presented by the wonderful folks at Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. Order you some delicious, refreshing, hydrating H2O. It was Anthony Davis, had 42 from the LA Lakers, big man against the Charlotte Hornets. Dunk of the night, Derrick Jones Jr., dunk contest winner. He had a nasty putback of a Norman Powell miss. Finally, performance of the night, Amen Thompson, a career night scoring-wise, 33 points, 13 of 19 shooting. This Rockets team can struggle to score at times. That's where Jalen Green is so relied on. He did not have a great game scoring-wise tonight, but when Thompson gives a performance like this, now granted, it's not going to be 30 every night, but wow, do they look dynamic. They defend, and he is a huge piece as to why they defend. Tonight, he had how they defend. He held Jason Tatum to 5 of 14 shooting. I've said it before, and I'm going to stick with it. He reminds me of prime Ron Artest. Week 14 NBA Players of the Week announced tonight in the Eastern Conference. Remember when I said don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors? Scotty Barnes missed a significant portion of time earlier in the season when he had started off so well, caught an elbow from Nikola Jokic that had broken a bone, I believe, up in his face. I'm not sure if it was the orbital or nose, but he had to wear a mask, and he was gone for a while. He's back in the fold. His team won 3 games, 3-0 last week, 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. And in the Western Conference, a player that I thought was an all-star starter and a snub. We will see if he ends up getting in as a reserve. Jaren Jackson Jr. probably doesn't hurt that he just made Western Conference Player of the Week. His team winning all 4 games, 25.8 points, 6.3 rebounds. He did it on an effective 57.6% shooting. Dunk contest, the quartet competing in San Francisco has been finalized. McClung will be looking to make it a three-peat. Yes, did you know McClung has won the last 2 dunk contests? When did the dunk contest fall off? No shade to McClung. He's a great dunker. He's trying to join only other competitor to win the contest 3 times. Any guesses? Anybody? Bueller? Nate Robinson has won the contest, the only one to win it 3 times. The other 3 competitors in this year's dunk contest, Steph Castle of the San Antonio Spurs, Matas Buzelis of the Chicago Bulls, and Andre Jackson Jr. of the Milwaukee Bucks. Dunk contest is cooked. I think it happened when Aaron Gordon lost to Levine in Toronto. Just hasn't felt the same since. Hopefully, these gentlemen, no shade to them, but you need some big names. Remember when the dunk contest used to be the premier event within All-Star Weekend? Now it's the three-point contest. I don't know about that. Let's talk Jimmy Butler, set to return from his second suspension of the season. It was 2 games this past. He would be told after shoot-around that he would no longer be in the starting lineup. Upon which he took the news and walked out of practice. This is what the reporting said. Miami issued a statement. He's been suspended without pay indefinitely due to, quote, continued pattern of disregard of team rules, engaging in conduct detrimental to the team, and intentionally withholding services. This suspension, conveniently enough, is set to last at least 5 games, which takes us right up to the trade deadline of February 6th. House shoes today. We got on New Balance 990, V3, Teddy Santis. First time busting these out. I love this shoe. 10/10 recommend. Let's talk the time-tested battle between organization and player. The front office versus agent / player. Back channeled through media reports. He said, she said, no, I didn't. No, he said. All whilst trying to win basketball games with 14 other guys on the roster and a whole litany of other people that are affected by this sniping back and forth. What obligations do players have? Do they have it to their teammates? Do they have it to the franchise, to the fans? They're contractually obligated to play. That is what the Miami Heat and their front office will continue to stand behind throughout this process in suspending Jimmy Butler, is that he is not fulfilling his contractual obligation. But let's start with Jimmy Butler. He is at this arc now that it feels you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. What a journey for Butler. He goes from a scrappy Bulls player that comes from Marquette. He makes a name for himself through his competitive drive, the chapters in Minnesota and Philly, in which he runs his course out there, but it was because he wanted to win, driving teams, driving his teammates. Then in Miami, has there been a player that has accomplished more with potentially less? That may be his skill set, his teammates as well, dragging 2 teams to the NBA Finals. He became a household name across the bubble run that he clearly left everything out on the court. The iconic Jimmy Butler image of him draped over after a foul in that series against the Lakers. But now where does Jimmy Butler stand as this saga has played out and he continues to be painted by the Miami Heat and the media at times as just a greedy athlete that doesn't care? He's had his teammates support. Bam Adebayo came out today, said, that's my guy. You're not going to get me to say anything bad about him. Players generally will not speak bad upon other players because were they to be in the same situation, they would want the support, which ultimately what Butler says is he doesn't like the direction of the team, but does he just want the team to believe in him in terms of giving him more money? It's Pat Riley. He is the other main character on the side of this battle. He's iron-willed Pat. No one's going to play this game of chicken with him and win. People have talked about he was the one guy to stand down LeBron James. Nobody is bigger than Heat culture, the franchise. He embodies that old school ethos missing for a lot of NBA players and NBA franchises today that I think a lot of people would say, well, that's what's wrong with the league. Maybe. Does anybody win here? If Jimmy Butler ultimately forces his way out and gets a new contract with whatever team, what type of player are they getting? Are they getting a player that is hungry and ready to compete for championships? Maybe. I don't know. Jimmy Butler has been that guy that, like I said, has done so much with so little. Miami tries to move on and salvage a season, salvage an era transition from old to new with Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. They have some winning pieces. Hero should be an all-star. Bam Adebayo was an Olympian. Eric Spoelstra regarded as one of the best coaches in the NBA. So I hate to see this saga play out. These are the things that you wish played out in the offseason. This is the drama, though, that people sign up for in the NBA. I, for one, am always one that leans to the drama on the court. If you watch the Miami Heat play, they've played many a thrilling game over the course of the season. There's plenty of drama that happens on the floor, but this is the circus. This is why everybody tunes in. This is why people watch season 3 sometimes, is because it is the pot stirring that goes around in professional sports. Interested to see how this all plays out. Have we seen, I've asked multiple times, Jimmy Butler's last days in Miami? One would think that you don't recover after this, but I said that after the first suspension, and he suited up and played. But Jimmy obviously wants out, so hopefully cooler heads or maturity can prevail, and you're obviously working against many bigger things than that. I feel like Jimmy holds the ultimate card in this, the ace of spades, in his player option. If Miami just continues to suspend him, it's going to be played out in arbitration between the players union and Jimmy Butler and the Heat, or the players union with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, because he has a $50 million player option that he's no doubt going to sign. He wants that money for next year. And then you have Bradley Beal, who says with his no trade clause that he doesn't want to go play for a team that is not a contender and is in a cold weather climate. Okay, Brad. What to watch Tuesday night? Just 4 games, so coming off our 12-game slate. Tomorrow night, not a single game between 2 teams with winning records. And this is on a national slate night. 2 games on TNT. TNT in the league kind of did get bagged. The Lakers are in Philadelphia to take on the 76ers, and Joel Embiid, in spite of doing handstands in practice, he's not playing in that, already been announced. And the final game, it is Bucks Trailblazers. How did that get picked? Flex that out of the national window. Some nights will be like that in the NBA. Rockets Hawks may have some juice. Houston, though, is on the travel back-to-back. Both teams playing on the back-to-back. Hawks lost tonight. So unless your team is playing, maybe you take the night off and then you just tune back in, because Z's and Threes has got you on everything you might miss. If you like the show, like, subscribe, share with a friend, help us spread the word of Z's and Threes. We will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.